I know it was last week, but I had to hit the button anyway. How sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. How sweet it is. That's not right. How sweet it is to be loved by you nerds. What is up? It's me, your buddy pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to HeyArcher Live here on Nerd Affiliated. I almost said here on Nerdy Coffee. The shows are all a blur in my head. But I'm glad to have you all here for your weekly nerdy show where we sit back, relax, pour ourselves a little drink. I said we pour ourselves a little drink. And hopefully by now you've poured yourself just a little bit of...
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
I feel like it's been a really, really exciting week in nerddom because people at Marvel getting fired. Freaking Shazam is starting real life beefs with The Rock. It's just craziness. People like this week's Mandalorian. It's just insane out there. So I had to bring in the professional, the rambling nerd himself. Senor Anthony's in the house today. We're going to talk about all that stuff. Whatever you guys want to talk about, put it in the chat. Of course, if you have a podcast, a blog, a vlog, an OnlyFans, a newsletter, smoke signals. God, I'm forgetting the seventh one again. I should make that a t-shirt. Put it in the chat. Support one another. Plug yo shit. Like I said, so much going on. I feel like I also blinked out for a second, just kind of zoned out. So if I didn't talk for 30 seconds, I apologize. I swear I was saying things. But we're going to talk about all that stuff. No spoilers for this week's shows, even though I think by now you've seen them, but we won't cover any spoilers. We may just like cover the overall themes. But so much to talk about. So as I say every week, without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Rambling Nerd Anthony in the house. Sir, how you doing today?
I'm good. Good evening, sir. I cheers you.
Is that coffee or Jameson?
That's I'm being very Italian tonight. This is red wine in a glass. And not a wine glass, just a glass.
Yeah, it was throwing me off because I mean, you guys can't see obviously, but he has like a small, what looks like a whiskey glass, and it's just red floating in there. So I was like, it could even be a shot of espresso, if you really want to dig deep into the Italian roots there. But
yeah,
alas,
that's true.
Alas, I just want to go back through the chat, say hi to everybody because I was enjoying you guys' chat before we started the show. Of course, hello, Rolando. I'm not sure how you do this. You're in every live stream at the same time. But welcome to you, sir.
There's a lot of windows open.
A lot of windows, yeah. Sal's in the house. Made his return this week on Nerdy Coffee. So best believe he'll be back on HeyArcher Live soon.
We've got some stuff to talk about and to fix. And
on Rambling, yeah. Oh, that's right. You guys have some snaps to do over there.
I mean, we do have that, but I feel like we're going to have to do that for Mandalorian. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to the chat.
Hobbies with Jose in the house. Good to see you. Chowing down on leftover pizza. I love some leftover. I'm ratchet. I don't even warm it up. I'll just eat it just as is.
Cold pizza is amazing. I'll fight you on that.
Yeah. No, yeah.
If you disagree, that is.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have fresh pizza at my place, though, it's going to be so hard to let any of it sit till tomorrow. Yeah, it's fair. Usually destroy that all in one sitting. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is here. Did I miss anybody? I think I saw, Aaron Waller in the house.
Aaron.
Legacy of Nerd on the house. Look at that. Mr. 1000 over there. Shout out to Legacy of Nerd. Cheers to you.
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer.
Oh, yeah.
More vodka.
Oh, yeah.
More whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
And more beer.
Mr. 1000 over there. The Legacy of Nerd. Congrats to you, sir. Just crossed over that. Interviewing Power Rangers left and right. Casually.
Yeah.
Crossing the 1000 mark. This guy's he's Hollywood, not me. That's him.
A little bit, yeah. I'm looking, I'm like, oh, hey, so-and-so Ranger's doing an interview. Wait, I'm already subscribed to this channel. Wait, what?
It's true.
So
It's true.
very pleasantly surprised.
And we got the preview, the trailer for the 30th anniversary episode or episodes. I'm not sure. I think it's more than one. So that's pretty exciting there. Are you like outside of Mighty Morphin? Did you watch any other Power Rangers, like outside maybe the movie?
I mean, I think I stuck around through obviously Mighty Morphin. I think I started to trail off probably when they went to space. Like,
Yep.
I feel like when they went to space was kind of like mid junior high school ish. So I think I started to like, because I'm a creature of habit even back then, like I would come home and put it on, but less and less paying attention. So I think that's like kind of was the end of it for me. I feel like I saw the original Red Ranger come back as the Gold Ranger.
Right.
And I don't know if I definitely saw that, but I don't think they were in space at that point, were they?
No, that was
Legacy's
before
gonna
that.
boot me off his channel.
Yeah.
So okay, so I definitely saw all that, and then yeah, I want to say when they were space defenders or whatever the phrase was for that show. That yeah, Rangers in Space. I feel like that was the end of it. The last toys I bought were the second version where they got like when Lord Zed appeared, and then they had the new Zords and like
Thunder Zords.
Jason had his own like. Basically, he had his own Megazord, but the thing collapsed into something smaller so it can join with the other guys.
Right.
So, yeah. My brother still has them someplace, but they're not worth a thing, I'm sure, because we actually played with them. So, like, you know, all the joints are loose. I remember, like, the Dragon Zord, how it would, like, form the shield when it would combine with the other Zords. I vaguely recall that thing, like, we had, I don't know, just played with it too much, and now, like, the shield wouldn't lock together. So if we put them all together, it would pop apart, kind of like Optimus Prime opening his chest to get the Matrix out of there.
Yeah.
So as usual, that's a long answer to a short question. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I mean, I'm reminiscing because I also had that figure. That was actually my first.
Yeah, that one, the dragon.
I think it was my second Zord. I think the Falcon Zord from the movie release was my first one, and then this was my second one. And I swore. What's up, Scooby? Good to see you. I swore I would buy the Megazords and stuff when they re-released, like I did some of the other things. But I just had no desire. It was weird. I had no desire. I thought I would want to get them, but I think I'd get this one out of pure nostalgia of having it when I was a kid versus the other ones never having them and then wanting to buy them.
So I just had a thought. How much trouble will you get in if you put that sort of stuff on the registry?
I mean, you don't know unless you try, right?
Exactly. So,
what's up, Mulatto Vanguard? Good to see you, brother. It's true. It's true. But as I mentioned, we have the Legacy of Nerd. Actually, I think I can post links now with the new update. I can. Very nice. So if you've not done so, subscribe to Legacy of Nerd. Daniel has been killing it with the interviews. He did the last one was a live with Aisha. So make sure you check that one out. And then the last upload that was pre-recorded outside of his review here, or the trailer reaction, Jenna Frank, the daughter of Tommy Oliver, a.k.a. Jason David Frank. So check that out for sure. I'm just going to stick on Power Rangers for a second, just because that's what we do.
Yeah, why not?
So I'm curious, right? Now, you are also a collector adjacent. Like, I feel like you and Sal, for the most part, live vicariously through me when it comes to buying a lot of figures and stuff. And
correct.
I asked Josh this question. That's right. Yeah. In the movie, they had different Zords, but in the TV show, they went with the Thunder Zords and then eventually went with the Ninja Zords, I think, after that. But Legacy can correct that for me. I'm telling you, you need the power weapons for your groomsmen pictures. That came up. That did come up.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Another franchise, but that concept came up for sure. Actually, I think she was like, yeah, he would do his, whatever, maybe it's Power Rangers or something. So definitely came up. So I asked Josh the other day, I was like, as somebody who casually collects, are there things that would push you over the edge as to like, I'm going to really spend some coin? But with some of these figures, you are kind of the target demographic. I mean, I'm definitely target, but they also want the casual person to dip their toes in. Would a figure of this caliber at $54 kind of hook you in, considering all the accessories? It comes with both Jason's head and Rocky's head, so depending on which one you want to rock.
Oh, that's cool.
You can get it.
Jason's face looks a little bit
I didn't like that one.
unbecoming.
Yeah, that's the only.
The-
That was my only complaint.
yeah.
$54.
Honestly, no, because like I mean, I don't mean to sound cheap, but not at that price point. Because like, it's $60 for something that, as a guy who doesn't collect often, it's going to sit in the box.
Right.
You know, unless, I mean, do they have the packaging? Like, unless you can see into it, it's yeah.
This is
So
the
it's gonna
outside.
it's gonna okay. So can you? So there is the window.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to live in the box unless I bought more to like, have the original 5 or 6, I guess, with Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like obviously I don't want to sound cheap, but just $60 per figure. And I don't know, I'm out of it. So I don't know when the next one would be coming out or anything like that. I'd be more apt to spend coin if they set it as like, if they had it as instead of having a toy hunt for it,
Mm-hmm.
as the true casual, if I just saw it like in a collection and it was $200, but it was like high quality for 6 figures, and obviously 6 figures there's enough accessories, hopefully, but like so you don't have to have everything you saw there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think personally, I'm not going to just pick one up. I would want the whole set. Or on the other side, I forget the figure. When I was watching you and Josh, you had like the tiny figures. I forget the size on like the cardboard backing, just like you know which one I'm talking about? Like
this one there.
It was like a little guy. It almost looked like the old G.I. Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, like one of those, I'd be more apt to pick up because it's cheap. It's whatever, and I can still, I can open it and I'm not going to cry about it.
$20
like granted,
cheap or cheaper.
Again, just I'd have to honestly look at it, but $10 at most, maybe 15. But again, it's if I'm opening it up to give it to a kid to play with, okay, but just like to have it to collect, to not really do anything with, I don't know. $10 seems fair. I don't know how. Again, I don't know the production costs anymore, but I'm sure they're just marking it up anyway. And like you've said, I know through you, like they just some of this stuff could just be like a repaint or like
right.
An old head sculpt or something.
Right.
So I'm just slightly informed enough to be critical of it, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean you're not wrong. You're not wrong, and that's where I do question it. Like not to go on a toy tangent, but like I'm a degenerate. I'm gonna buy stuff just because. I mean, something because now I'm like kind of starting to pick and choose what I buy. The Zombie Iron Man on clearance for $7. I was like, that's a pickup all day. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, a casual person, if that 10 to 15 was your actual price, I feel like casual people would just pick them up and then they would sell by volume. But
yeah, I would probably, honestly, if I saw the Power Ranger for $15, I would probably get them individually.
Yeah.
But
the quality on these are good. Like they're good figures. Not to toot my own horn on the photography part, but I just think
I was very excited when I saw you posting about the new lens, and I'm also hurt that I didn't get a heads up about it. I had to find out on the internet like everybody else. It's like, I have a degree that's gathering dust in this field, right?
It's funny. I was sitting there when I was setting up and I was looking at my camera, and I was thinking about like if we were doing a con somewhere, or like I needed somebody to take photos, like who people I know that could like do that kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that's right. Anthony knows how to do this stuff. But Anthony does, you're more in the film side, I think, than digital, which I actually like. But do you know digital stuff as well? Have you kept up to date with
I know.
stuff?
So when I went, the Canon 20D, no, the Canon 10D,
Mhm.
and its honking 6 megapixels was like the it camera at my school for digital.
Mhm.
And then we got into digital backs for medium format cameras that are no longer made and stuff like that. So I know digital. I know same thing. I know the beginnings. Well, maybe not beginnings, but like
Mhm.
I have a baseline of digital and
Yeah.
film is. I was trained on film. I process my own film. So
Yeah.
between that and the Army helicopter, I'll be growing a couple of interesting things in my body as we speak.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I know enough about digital to get in trouble, just like with anything else. I know enough about cars to get myself in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
You
usually how
know?
that works.
Yeah, exactly. And then you figure it out, and then there's YouTube
Mhm.
for the rest.
Yeah. Now, speaking of getting in trouble, nice segue.
Yeah, it was.
I'm getting in trouble for my take on Mandalorian.
Hmm.
And the my take is along the lines of I feel like this season's pretty whack. And first, I'm going to lead off. Hi, Pikes. Good to see you. Welcome aboard. I do want to lead off with a simple question. Am I tripping when I say that this season is just weak sauce, or is that like you're feeling the same way? And in the chat, please, everybody, let me know if I'm just tripping.
I'm feeling the same way. Short answer. Like in the moment, except for the week before last's episode where they
Yeah.
were on Coruscant. In that one, the entire time I was like, when are we cutting back to Mando?
Right.
But this week too, it's weird because like in the moment I was like, oh, cool, some fun stuff, and
Cool
then
things
like
happen.
cool things happen, but
Yeah.
then talking to you, Sal, and Aaron, think about it more and more, and you're like, this actually makes no sense.
Yeah.
Or spoilers for a snap Sal and I haven't even talked about. This should have happened last week,
Right.
and this week more stuff should have been going on. And I said it in my video. We've said it in the chat. I feel like we've said it. You may have said it on here. It's really evident that our joke is the truth, or at least I think our joke is the truth. They sacrificed season three's opening to try to save Book of Boba Fett, and now season three is suffering for it.
Yeah.
There's some stuff that's fun in the moment, but again, when you stop that and you just, I mean, I'm not even trying to be a hater. It's just when I apply a little bit of, you know, uh, critical thought,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, why do we do this? What was the whole point of all this? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. And also, we're like, what, halfway through now? This was episode 4 or 5 of this season.
Yeah.
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 So,
I think we're past halfway.
all right. So then you've got 3 episodes left, and I don't know what you're building towards because like you've said, and it's not spoilers because it's already happened in the first episode or two. He's bathed in the waters. She saw the Mythazar, so that gives her a clue that Din is the Mandalorian
Mm-hmm.
and all this other stuff. Grogu has come back. We know there's really no Imperial presence on Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing they have to deal with is a rough re-entry and exit when they
Mm-hmm.
try to get on and off the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah. I was talking to, and Pikes agrees, Sal agrees. I was talking to my coworker, and I was about to say it, and he cut me off, and he said it, and I was like, I agree. That's exactly what I was going to say. He was saying, well, what they're going to probably just do is the last episode or two throw in the biggest cameo they can throw in to try to get the oh my god moment, and then you kind of forget that the season was weak. But I was like, I think this time it's not going to work. And this week's like person that they threw in, I respect the fact that I'm gonna screw it. I'm gonna say it. Well, no, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. I almost said it, but I'm gonna keep it because I feel like social media isn't spoiling this episode anyway. But the person they threw in this week, I was like, cool that you're here. Like, we're joining lore and other shows and stuff. But you were just thrown in for the sake of just throwing you in. Like, it didn't do anything to the story. It didn't make sense that you were thrown into the story at this point. But people are like, yeah, that's so awesome, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys, these have to be fake reactions. Like, there's no way that you see that guy open the door and you're like, ah, like it just doesn't. I don't feel like that merited that kind of response.
I'm wondering if I missed an episode because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Did you not
There was a
watch on?
cameo this week?
Yeah, you watched it on Wednesday.
Yeah. There,
Yeah.
there was no cameo. It was, you know, the people who were the last Mandalorians we saw were there this week. Was there any
You,
post-credit scene I missed?
no, in the flashback.
All right, then. Oh, in the flashback. You see that? That's all right. Yeah, okay, fine. I
Yeah.
wasn't even thinking about that. That didn't even register to me. Like
Yeah.
that was again, that's one of those things where it's like cool in the moment, but now
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the Mandalorian proper in, quote unquote our time. And I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, I didn't even realize who that was until you guys told me because I'm
Mhm.
just dope. But yeah, okay. Sorry, guys. I'll turn in my card later. But okay, that's how little it registered. That's how little it impacted me.
Yeah.
You know, that was something. Again, that's something that could have happened later in the season when Luke and Grogu and even the Mandalorian are all talking to one another about going to Mandalore, and he's asking for a progress report on Grogu, and he's like something is holding him back, and then Din and Grogu have a conversation of sorts, and we get that flashback or whatever for whatever reason. But yeah, that's how little it.
Yeah.
It didn't do. It was cool. Again, cool in the moment. Didn't save the episode from the negative. I gave it a 5 on Aaron's live stream, I believe.
Yeah.
I think you gave it a 6. I gave it a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't save. It didn't save it.
Yeah. And I will beat this horse until it's literally dirt. This dead horse. That we are not like the fandom menace. We are not people who just hate everything Disney's doing. When they hit, and we call it out when they hit, and we love it. Even shows like Kenobi, yeah, you can go back and nitpick it, but overall, we were just happy to see it. Like all the little nitpicks in Kenobi, we were able to just forego it because happy to see it. Happy that Ewan's back. Happy that Hayden's back. Great stuff.
I don't even think I had that many critiques of Kenobi. I actually liked it. I liked how they played him. I liked, even Reva. I didn't hate her character the way other people on the internet. It was like, okay, she's an Inquisitor. You're not supposed to fucking like her.
Right. I thought she did a great job at that.
I thought she did too.
Her character, whether you liked it or not, pulled out a feeling of either you liked her or you hated her. Like it worked. I thought the ending was sloppy, but that aside, I was excited.
Okay, yeah, I did critique that.
Yeah, but week to week, we were excited for it. Now, every week, I'm like, all right, which side of the coin am I going to get here? On both shows, like Mandalorian, now I'm just going into it like, all right, I need to keep watching it for the sake of, 1, this channel, and 2, for the lore, just to know what's happening. And how they end up justifying what we get in Force Awakens and all that stuff. Because that's essentially what they're trying to get us to understand.
Which is sad. There's so much time that they have left between the Force Awakens is supposed to happen. Yeah. They could have just stuck to their own pocket of the universe, of the timeline. Yeah.
But then the other one that, not to use this in a like major derogatory way, but friggin' Bad Batch is straight up bipolar. Like Bad Batch gives us an episode that, and I've been eating shit for it on TikTok with my post. They're like, oh, you get mad that they have episodes for kids? Like, what do you get over it? It's not for you anymore. And then I made that video where I'm like, no. Like, you keep saying that, but then you keep showing shit that like I wouldn't want my kid to see. Like, I don't want my kid to watch a Princess of a Planet. I know this is Clone Wars, but same difference. A Princess of a Planet that you're supposed to, my little kid's going to be like, oh, even I could rule a planet someday, get impaled with a sword in her chest. Like, that's not a kid show. So when I see these arguments, I'm like, nah, man, that's stupid. That's just like a stupid argument to be like, well, it's a kid show. Decide what you're going to be. Either you're going to be Clone Wars or you're going to be the Resistance cartoon. One of the two. And this show, when you get episodes like this past week, I'm like, where the hell has this show been? Where's this show been? Give me an entire season of this stuff and keep the kids stuff on another show. Simple.
Yeah, I think it's what I've said before is what it is. It's Disney. They have an arbitrary rule about how many episodes of a cartoon you have to make
Right.
per season. And maybe, like, I heard once there was even like, because I remember, like, there were cartoons for like Aladdin and Lilo and Stitch and all the animated movies, they had a cartoon spinoff.
Right.
And I feel like I read once that there was whatever, 50. There was an order for 50 episodes, period, end of story.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not saying that, I mean, it's Star Wars, so they're going to milk it until it's dead. But I feel like there's hey, we need, what's Bad Batch going to be? Like 16 to 24 episodes? Hey, we need this many, period. No compromises. So figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's why we have so much filler. Like we've said, cut it out and then give us, like The Mandalorian, give us seasons 1 and 2, give us 8 to 10 episodes of moving story, and I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All that stuff the week before last with the scientist.
Yeah.
Honestly, that could have been a short on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
That could have been a whole string of post-credit scenes that they did starting with season 3. I didn't need, and you could have obviously edited that together better, but I don't necessarily need that backstory, especially now seeing that Grogu, because like I remember in the beginning, like, oh my God, maybe he's a clone of Yoda because the guy had the clone uniform, the cloner tech uniform on, the scientist in the first season and all that other stuff. And then you find out he was a Padawan, so he's not a clone. I mean, I guess they could still like throw you through a loop and say, well, Yoda was the last of his species, so he tried to clone himself, which is weird, but that's, the only way I can really see him being a clone now. But I lost my train of thought. It's more information. Again, like you said, I feel like all they're going to do now is they're setting up Palpatine. And they were doing that in season 2 when the Moff is like, hey, I just needed to study his blood.
Right.
Like, okay, yeah, you wanted to make him a host that's able to deal with force powers. Gotcha. Cool. I feel like that wasn't shoving it down my throat the way that episode shoved it down my throat. Like, hey, we're building towards Palpatine's return. We're going to make it all logical and canon. And they're just shoveling that shit down my throat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on this week's episode of For Those Good Tastes, I feel like Lenny's giving it a different name now, like the show itself. But For Those Good Tastes, Sal, if you can put the link down in the description or in the comments. Lenny was talking about a movie he went to go see this week that he walked out of. And Lenny, if any of you don't know, if you haven't watched all the episodes or various episodes, Lenny generally doesn't hate anything. Like and not in a bad way. Lenny literally gives respect to the fact that somebody was able to put together a movie, start to finish, promote it, etc., and will not give something like a straight up thumbs down. Like everything, he's like, you at least pass because you got us to this point. You're at least in theaters, for some examples. Lenny walked out of a movie last week. Lenny has never done that. Lenny has Movie Pass. He gets to go to the movies like every week for one price. He loves it. He's one of only 2 people I know that have that thing. He walked out of a movie. And that movie, I will show you guys in a second. When I saw the poster, I said, this is exactly what's wrong with everything. This is exactly what's wrong with Star Wars. It's exactly what's wrong with every single production. That people are making decisions out of left field just on a whim. Just like, yeah, you know what? I think this is a good idea. Whether it makes sense or not, they're just throwing shit at the wall, see what sticks, and then get mad when it doesn't work. So I'm going to show you a poster right now. And this poster is for the movie that Lenny walked out on. And this poster, to me, looks like an adult went to a child and said, hey, kid, what is a movie franchise that you like? Star Wars. Cool. Hey, kid, what's an animal you like? I like dinosaurs. Great. And then the person went on Google, typing with one finger at a time, and said,
Hmm.
number one show on TV, Last of Us. Got it. Movie, set, and ladies and gentlemen, we have the poster for 65, starring Adam
Oh,
Driver with a child with a T-Rex behind him. That's Hollywood now. That is what Hollywood is
I
now.
didn't realize that came out.
Didn't even know what
I'm
it
shocked
was.
that he walked out of it. I'd seen trailers for it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's Adam Driver coming back to sci-fi again. Okay, and I was kind of intrigued because I don't feel like I knew it was a dinosaur at first.
Hmm.
And then like I saw, naturally they too many trailers, and I didn't give a shit about watching them. So I saw like they crash land. Spoilers, okay, for this movie, as far
Hmm.
as I know from the trailer. They crash land on Earth 65 million years ago,
Yep.
and that's how human beings got to the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Uh, so they did technically coexist with dinosaurs. But yeah, I was like, I thought it was kind of interesting, but I guess I'm not even going to watch it when it comes on demand now. If he left,
He straight up walked out. I mean, I'm
I don't know if I've ever walked out of a movie.
no.
I sat through Pirates of the Caribbean 3
Oof, that's
with
impressive.
Josh, and I was sitting in there. I had a friend with me, and I was like, aside from Josh, and I'm like, God, I hate this. And then later on, was like, dude, I thought you liked it. I wanted to leave. Like, you want to leave? I wanted to fucking leave. And I was so mad.
Yeah. What's up, K
I
Walk?
sat through
Good to see you.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and didn't leave.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that is major. That is major. I
that's
I've never left, but I've fallen asleep a couple times, and those movies were the Robin Hood with Russell Crowe, and in that
okay.
one, Surge kept disturbing my sleep because he's like, you're snoring too loud and
Ah,
disrupting the other people sleeping in the theater. I fell asleep during Blade Trinity,
mm,
which even he didn't care about, so I don't feel so bad. I
yeah.
remember I remember Ryan Reynolds shows up, I passed out, and then I wake up and he's riding his motorcycle to the sunset. And I go, that's supposed to be ironically like not funny, but it's pretty funny to me.
Yeah.
And then the last one that I almost fell asleep in, I wish I fell asleep in it, but little did I know I would fall in love with the franchise. And that was the Clone Wars movie. I think
Ah,
I've told the story on here before. I was the only one and like a 5-year-old in the theater that did not fall asleep. I took my little cousin to see it. Everybody in the theater fell asleep. I'm sitting there just like, oh my God, this is awful. And some like 5-year-old is just doing laps up and down the aisle because his parents fell asleep too. But
yeah.
and I wanted to leave, but I was like, it's Star Wars. I'll just deal with it. And little did I know they would change direction on that franchise following that movie,
Thankfully.
thankfully. And let's see, I was in theaters on Saturday and Sunday, 2 separate theaters, and neither had it on the marquee. Yeah. Never left nor fallen asleep in a movie. Wow, Aaron.
Mm.
Am I more of a parent than you are that that I took my kid to the theater and fell asleep? Well, I took my cousin to the theater. But I
Same
try to pick and
difference.
choose. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's bad. But that's, I see that stuff and I'm like, you guys are bugging out. You don't know. You're just it's like they're shooting their shot, but it's like the wrong people shooting their shot. Like
Yeah.
they're not trusting their own staff. But
Yeah, like that. I, I know, and most of the time lately, I agree with you. The movies are done for, like the
yeah,
theaters.
yeah,
But they need, I don't know, like, I mean, we should stop trying to solve their problems because I feel like sometimes we get actual ideas and then they're going to see this for free and not give us credit. But I mean, you got to save it for like your Top Guns and your
yeah,
uh, Infinity War and Endgame level stuff. Like, I don't know.
yeah,
It's just, and again, like, I swore a couple of weeks ago I was going to go, and then life got in the way. And I know it's coming on TV sooner than later, and I subscribe to it. So it's like, all right, I'll get to it now. I'm going to get to it eventually. And then Shazam's, like all the reviews and stuff. I'm still gonna see it. I'm still curious, but like
Mhm.
you said, social media spoiled cameos. Creed 3, I want to see it. There's no mystery with Creed 3. What's gonna
No.
happen? It's gonna be the same thing in every Rocky movie. He had the hero hasn't lost a fight in Rocky since the first one,
Yeah.
and even then it was a draw or whatever,
Oh no.
or
No, he
not a draw.
lost.
It
He
didn't. No, no.
lost in
Apollo got to his feet like a half a second left or whatever it was. Sorry,
Apollo 1
Apollo won.
via
Yeah, but he
decision.
won by getting to his feet.
No, decision.
It was a decision.
The
Was the
second
second
one,
one
the second one,
the one I'm
Rocky wins
thinking?
by standing up first,
Oh, okay. So I
and
flipped it around.
then,
I'm sorry.
but the first one, they both, I think, like knocked themselves down. They both got up. It went the distance, and then
Right.
they're like, and the winner is, but Apollo was like visibly more tired than Rocky.
Right. No, you're right. I apologize.
That almost pulls your Italian card, almost. That you didn't know
I
how the
mean,
first ever Italian Stallion movie didn't end.
well, I mean, it's not that I didn't know. I was thinking. I was just thinking of the second one.
Oh.
And do I get my
What are
Italian
you
card
saying?
back?
You
Because
saying they all look the same? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, all Italians do look the same. Fight me. I don't care. What? They're all olives with brown eyes and dark hair. All
If
right, now I'm canceled.
if Anthony wasn't sitting there with slick jet black hair, drinking wine with olive
With the
skin,
brown
I would
eyes.
have. Oh man, that's hilarious.
There's a loaf of prosciutto bread in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You want me to get that?
I could go for some prosciutto. I'll say
Oh
that.
my god, it's always a good decision.
I tell you, you know,
Set.
the one thing I will always give Sopranos is that not only is it one of the best shows on TV, but there's no way you can sit through Sopranos and not eat food. It's impossible.
Oh yeah,
Utterly
you get
impossible.
yeah. Watching it, you're just like, oh okay, yeah, yeah. Even if you manage to not eat during the episode, the second it's done, you're going into that kitchen, you're going to that fridge,
Yeah,
and if there's not cold cuts,
fucked.
or if there's too much pulp in the orange juice,
I was watching that clip today. Or did you send that to me? Did we both watch
no.
that?
I know I actually just rewatched the series like within the last 6 months, I think. So,
Yeah.
well, I finished rewatching the series within the last 6 months. I like there was one he did a commercial, um, Gandolfini,
Hmm.
where he's playing a mobster. And he's just like, you got to take the time to appreciate life or whatever. Like he's being all inspirational, but in the
Yeah.
background, there's guys like, breaking somebody's neck or
Oh,
like digging a
right.
hole for the body.
Right.
You got to dance more. And there's guys shooting at somebody. So they're
Yeah.
jumping around trying to avoid the bullets,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But,
My coworker just rewatched it too. And it was fun to live vicariously through her. Like she's like, oh my, cause she's never seen it. And she's like, oh my
mhm.
God, like this thing happens and that thing happens. And then I'm like about to say like, oh man, did you pass this point? But then you don't want to say it because you don't know. And I tell you, everybody in the chat, I tell you, it is a top 3 show all time.
Yeah.
Top 3. Literally the final 10 seconds are the worst show of all time. But that aside,
Yeah.
it is unbelievable how they get you. Actually, to ramble for half a second.
Please.
I'm listening now. We were talking about Quentin Tarantino on the way in today, or sorry, at work today. So on the way home today, I was listening to him on Joe Rogan because I was like, oh, I feel like listening to Tarantino do an interview. And he was talking about the worst periods in movies to him were the 50s and the 80s. And I'm paraphrasing. I encourage you go listen to it.
Mhm.
But essentially, he said the problem with those two periods is they never wanted you to see the main character and dislike the main character. So every character in those two time periods, when the movies came out, the character had to, like, if they were like a bad person at first, they had to like learn a lesson. And the example that sticks in my head, he was talking about Bill Murray in Groundhog's Day or Bill Murray in Stripes. Like you have this guy who just does not care. He's an asshole to everybody. He's a jerk. He's the main character. And then he learns a lesson and becomes a good person at the end of the movie. Like they just had to do that
Yeah.
every time. Sal's Italian card has been revoked. So that's a wrap right there on that.
He hates The Sopranos?
Hates The Sopranos. Jesus.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. Well, it's a good thing I'm not godfather to his daughter, because
I need a "you're fired"
I don't
button.
know. Can I resign from being a godfather if I'm a godfather? I
I
don't
think
know.
we can let that
It's a good
happen.
thing I'm not. You're killing me, Sal. You're killing me.
I tell you. But that was his point. He was like, I hated that about those movies, that everybody had to like learn a lesson. And I think what I love the most about Sopranos is they are all bad people, and they get you to like them and like the characters, but yet never make the characters good people. They stay pieces of
Yeah.
shit start to finish.
Oh yeah, the entire show. They're all awful.
Yeah.
Especially, and it's funny because like you'd think like they'd pull something with Tony since he's in therapy,
Right.
and like maybe he'll in like the last season, like is he gonna have an aha moment? And then
Nope.
spoilers, he doesn't.
Yep.
So
Yep. No, and it's great. I mean, even just that, like him having those moments where he looks at somebody, he makes the decision, he makes the call, he kind of feels bad about it afterwards, but then it's just back to business. He's like, you know what? It's my job. I always think of the cop, the episode with the cop that pulled him over, the black
Yeah.
guy.
Mhm.
And I'll spoil it for all of you. Like, I don't know, you're probably going to forget about it if you ever
20
watch it.
20 years old. So
Yeah. There's an episode where he's driving. I think he may have been drunk. Well, he probably was drunk and cheating on his wife, most likely. But he's driving home, and this cop pulls him over, and he's like, "Oh God," gets pulled over. Cop comes over, this black guy, and he's like, license, registration, and he takes out he has like a cop card, like
yeah,
I know
PBA card.
somebody. Yeah. And the cop looks at it. He's like, all right, yeah, but I still need your license, registration. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I still need that. So Tony gets mad that the cop wrote him a ticket. So he calls the precinct captain or whatever and says, hey, this guy pulled me over, gave me a ticket, make it go away, because that's a dirty cop. And the guy's like, yeah, I'll take care of that for you. Ends up firing the cop. Separate episode, or maybe later in the episode, Tony goes to like Home Depot to buy like some new plants, and the cop is at Home Depot, and he's like, oh shit. He's like, hey, sorry about what happened. And the cop's like, yeah, well, F you, essentially. And Tony's like, see, I told you, you shouldn't have written me the ticket. You shouldn't blah, blah, blah. And I love that in that segment, you're like, oh, maybe Tony's gonna actually like feel bad about it for the duration, but he only feels bad about it for 5 seconds, and then he's just like, fuck you, you know what? I'm glad you got fired, And they just find a way to like loop you right back around. Such a good show.
Yeah, Tony has the ultimate like I don't know what it's actually called, but it's like the woe is me thing. Like he can turn anything like he whacks pussy, which is just such a fun sentence to say.
Yeah.
And like he's sad because his best friend's gone. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have put
Killed
a
him.
freaking bullet in his head, dude.
Yeah. So
no, shocker. Tarantino has a point.
Yeah. I want to read this out loud here. Sal says, yep, don't like it. I don't like mob movies that are out of period. That shit wasn't going on in the early 2000s. Like, not even close.
All right. Well, now he's hitting us with his professional take.
Yeah.
And it's fantasy. Like, there's also not guys in spandex swinging around the city, sir.
All right. So
all right,
he's
maybe
partially...
there are, because actually, you haven't been down here in a minute, but New York's getting kind of weird. But
well, there was a TV show. Remember, there was a TV show. God, what was that called? I'm looking up right now. There was like a show where the real life superhero.
Oh yes. Like there was a dude.
Who wants to be a superhero?
Something, right? And like they actually went on patrols supposedly and stuff. Yeah. Like yeah. And And it didn't. I mean, it's like Kick-Ass. It didn't really work out for these guys.
I wish it was like Kick-Ass and actually got beat up. That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. The lawsuits that would have happened.
Was there one guy? I have like something Phoenix in my head. Was there one guy with that name?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you could see. Oh wow, Stan Lee was involved.
Oh, yeah, of course. Stan Lee was
Oh,
involved with
Stan.
every superhero thing back in the early 2000s.
Stan Lee made a cartoon about a stripper superhero for Pamela Anderson.
I love that.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Stripperella on
Stripperella.
Spike.
Yeah.
And then there was a couple other ones, like odd ones that he did, but
Yeah. That's funny. And then, of course, hang on. I have to find this because I want to make sure that we give this the honor it deserves. Where are you? Where are you? Just want to make sure.
this is like a clip where you're gonna put moody music. Where are you?
No, I can't find it. I guess he didn't make it to a TV show. I thought he did.
I have
I'm like
no idea what
Googling
you're
it.
going for.
Yeah, I can't find it. It did happen, I swear to God. But Wesley Snipes at some point wanted to make he had a real life like strike force he was trying to create where they actually could go out and like bounty hunt. This was coming off of Blade 3 or 2. Probably after 2. And was like, he's like, dude, I'm a martial artist. I'm a weapons expert now. I'm going after bad guys. That was his jam. He was going for it. It did not work out.
/ he knew the IRS was coming for him, and he had to get money.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
so slight segue. That's what's funny about, like, that's one extreme where the movie star believes his like 2-week crash course and like, okay, fine, he's trained in martial arts. I don't know what degree of a black belt he is or isn't. And he's like, I can take this into the real world. He's going to Steven Seagal it.
Yeah.
And then you got on the other end, I saw like I forget where I saw it. It was a clip, I think, with Keanu Reeves. And he's like, yeah, no. I'm a movie martial artist. I'm in John Wick 4 with, and I forget the actual guys' names. I apologize. He's like, we've got these three guys, and they're real martial artists, huh?
Danny Yan? Danny.
Well, he mentions 3. Like, there's going to be 3 in the film, and he like gives them all the credits. He's like, no. I'm movie martial artist. Yeah, sure, but these are the real deal. So it's like, just be humble.
Yeah. I do want to make fun of something though, since we brought up John Wick 4. It's not what you think. Hang on.
Oh. I thought you were just going to mock that they made a John Wick 4.
No. Because I do want to see it. I did think it wasn't going to perform well. I mean, it hasn't come out yet, but I do think it may not perform as well as it should. But, what do I know these days? I just want to point out.
But also, it's like, what's the budget? That's the main thing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, and I'm sorry to cut you off, I can't imagine it has as much VFX as Shazam and Black Adam and everything else. So what is their overhead really?
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. General Kenobi has entered the arena. Good to see you,
General?
Brother. So I like the whole, let's let me just see your homework real quick, but don't copy it. Yeah, sure, I won't copy it. Danny Yen plays a blind assassin in this movie. Do we remember the last time Danny Yen played a blind man?
Yes. In it was Rogue One.
There it was, Rogue One. Yep. I love it. I love that he's doing the same shit again. It's just like, yeah, I want you in my movie, but can you play that guy again?
Well, hey, if it ain't broke, I guess.
The Force is with me, and I am one with the Force. whatever it was. Love it. So we're almost at time. We'll go a little bit over because we started late. Where do you? I just want to know. I figure everybody's going to stand with me on this one, but can we all finally acknowledge and agree that The Rock is a dick? Is it official now?
I think, yeah,
It's official.
I think that's official. Like all
Cemented.
the stuff we've been hearing and reading, and like he has a huge ego because I mean, okay, it's a wrestling character, but you can kind of see it as I watched him some like more or less from the beginning, same as you.
Mm-hmm.
Feel like you can see him changing and stuff like that. And then even over his movie career, it's like the choices of film he took. Like in Be Cool, he played a gay guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'd ever do that now.
Right.
You
Right.
know, that like just that's the most extreme thing. Like that's him trying to act, and like I'm not even saying that was a good portrayal or anything, but that's him doing something totally different. Like, hey, The Rock's in a new movie with John Travolta. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna have guns and shit. No, no, no. It's a sequel to Get Shorty, and The Rock's a gay bodyguard. What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's I don't know, dude. And then it had to have been you. You posted that thing where when he was lobbying to play Jon Stewart, and in the hashtag he mentions how Jon Stewart could kick Superman's ass.
Yeah.
It's like very random. Okay, there's no reason for them to really ever find out
Mm-hmm.
the answer to that question. Okay, but then yeah, like you hear all the other stuff he did, and like how big a dick are you? Like you're denying you can't have access to this actor. You can't say that they're being recruited by so and so in your movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, dude, cool. So we're gonna put Black Adam back on the shelf forever. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, and I think in this case, I'm more mad at WB. Like the fact that I'm trying to get this ad to stop playing down here. Can I like pause it? There you go. I'm trying to get a copyright strike on just an ad. Like the fact that I would just tell him we're not making your movie. Like you want to play the B side to another character. Like we're not asking you to play Shazam. We're asking you to play Shazam's rival, the guy who Shazam fights. And you're telling me that we're going to let you determine whether you are in Shazam's movie? Like it's wild to me that they let him pull the shit. And I feel like we're at the point now where yeah, The Rock can sell some tickets to some things opposite Kevin Hart. But like, come on, really? Like if the Rock backed out of my movie, I don't think your movie's gonna tank. Like I don't think he's gonna make or break your movie. I know he's the biggest action star now, allegedly. It's alleged, but I really
him,
don't
right?
think, huh?
That's according to him, right?
It's probably according to him too. But like I don't think your movie tanks. Like he's not in Fast and Furious anymore. And those movies perform way better than Hobbs and Shaw did. So like
yeah.
And that's wild to me that even that happened. I just don't understand it. And I know that WB's rebooting, so is what it is. Their choice of end credits makes me feel like Shazam will continue somehow. I don't know how, but I don't even know if I want Shazam to continue. I didn't even see the damn movie. I'm ready for that shit to get rebooted too.
Yeah, I don't know. It sucks because, like, I was rooting for The Rock when, I mean, I guess, yeah, I'm pretty sure the Superman cameo got spoiled for me. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
you got spoiled for all of us.
Yeah, the Superman cameo got spoiled. But, I was rooting for him when I heard he wants to bring back Cavill and all that other stuff. And then, but like, it's like, it really is. It's just sad. And it's like, it's kind of like don't ever meet your heroes. Although now because of social media and all this other stuff, like you don't have to meet your heroes. You can just hear about how they really are.
Yeah.
and it turns you off to them, for lack of a better phrase in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wasn't exactly running out to see movies with The Rock in it anymore. Like I saw Black Adam because that's this, but I didn't go out to see Jumanji, either of the Jumanji movies, uh, and all his other films, which is the same thing over and over. San Andreas, or the one where he's in a tower and has one leg but is able to do feats that nobody with two legs could do.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't
I
remember
just
what that one
passed it.
is. Inferno, maybe, or
Just so you guys know, I'm like on was that San
IMDb.
Andreas? No.
Well, there was San Andreas with the earthquake. There was Rampage. There was,
Skyscraper.
I think it was like some skyscraper
Yeah.
where it's, yeah. Uh, for some reason, they make him I think he's a veteran and he's an amputee, but it
Literally
never
rip
comes
off
up
Die Hard.
again. Yeah, except in a comical way, do they ever mention that he's an amputee again? I think because
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he's falling. I think he uses his leg to slide a cable or something, or the leg catches on a cable and it saves him from falling. But it's like I'm pretty sure those things are shit, and you stop, especially you're the Rock, you're the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden you come to a stop, your fake leg will pop off, and you're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Is what'll happen. But yeah, no, the love affair I think is sliding, and I think it's hilarious. The XFL, I see it on. I don't watch it, but I see it on Saturdays in like the afternoon or something, and I'm like, oh
Mm-hmm.
wow, he's really trying to do it. That I don't foresee that really working out for him either.
Yeah.
You know, so he better pull back a little bit, because otherwise he might be in for a rude awakening. He might have to go back and do some wrestling. Uh, Depending on how smart he was or wasn't with his money.
But I don't even know. Like it's one of those, like I look at this thing, right? Like this is Skyscraper. Budget 125 million. So when you factor in marketing, you double it, you're at what, 250, and it worldwide 304. So it profited. So even a shitty movie like that, which is crazy, only made 68 domestic, 236 international. Like
Mm-hmm.
the people like him, I guess, overseas. Like it must be one of those where like people do watch, and as long as the budget's low enough, like even a movie that was not oh, it was not even that bad, was the Conan movie. Actually, I'm curious, how much did the Jason Momoa one do? Budget 90 million, lost money. Worldwide 60. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's definitely not that bad. It's not 63 million off a 90 budget bad, but oh no, it was Hercules. He did Hercules, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he had anything to do with the Conan reboot.
I feel like during Hercules, that's when he like popped off on like social media because he was training every day and like waking up at like 2 a.m. to start training, so that way he can go into makeup and then do the thing and then get like 2 hours of sleep and do it all again. So even this movie, budget 100 million, pulled in 244. So again, even his movies that don't traditionally do very well, the budget's so low because he spent all the money on him, it makes money.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean his movies are kind of like the dumb action movie. It's more or less safe for kids. Like
Yeah.
all those movies. I mean, based on just Jumanji and San Andreas, it's safe for kids, and there's a little bit of cleavage to keep the adults entertained.
Yeah.
You know, and then obviously like The Rock, for whoever wants him as their eye candy, because he wouldn't allow any other men to be looking good in a movie next to him. He has to be the best one. Uh,
I think, speaking of that, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse, but I think Pain and Gain was a turning point. I think once we get past Pain and Gain, because he was good in that movie.
mm-hmm.
Now we start
And
to
again, he's kind of acting like it's
yeah.
not, it's not the typical meathead you'd think he would be playing if you hear The Rock's going to play a meathead in the 90s in the
Yeah.
90s setting.
Yeah.
So,
'Cause
I
that's
mean, I'll give him a little bit of credit.
no, and when we go back, like when we go Tooth Fairy, that was the answer to Sal's question. That was the movie he's thinking of. But when we go back,
Yeah.
I mean these movies like and shows he was good in. Gridiron
Well,
Gang.
actually, what did I sent the picture the other night? I was at work and Doom was on,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
again, okay, like you expect, it was like kind of the cliche character. It was before he found, magic in a bottle and had some hair still, and he wasn't like the size of two or three rocks mushed together.
Yeah.
Uh, Essentially, he's the bad guy in the end and doesn't make it. There
Mm-hmm.
is no way in hell now he's going to do that movie and not be the hero and, kill everybody while, like, I can't say his hair is blowing in the wind. The metaphorical cape is flowing in the sunlight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, he took, he started taking himself way too freaking seriously, is probably what that was. And, like,
Yeah.
I mean, is his TV show still doing well? And he's in that, like, just a little bit, but, like, I mean, come on, NBC approaches you like people are stoking his ego too. Hey, we want to make a TV show about your life.
The
Like, that inflates your ego a little bit. Young
Young
Rock.
Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I wonder how much of this, like, let's see, 37 episodes. How many seasons is it though? 3 seasons. So it can't be doing that bad. But I wonder how much of this comes out of like the WWE budget, like because they still make money on him, like that. Him and
yeah,
and John Cena, same thing. That's why John Cena shows up every year, like 2 months out of WrestleMania, so that way he can do WrestleMania. He's doing it this year, but like those two dudes, like whether we like it or not, still pull money in WWE. WWE has a partnership with NBC and Peacock, so I'm like, is some of that budget coming out of here, or are that many people really watching this? Or hell, look at this. Maybe it's that good. 9.1 out of 10, 9.1 out of 10. Like,
yeah,
but he's also not in it like that. So,
yeah. I think, like, I watched one episode. Again, I haven't actively avoided it. I haven't actively tried to find it. I think I saw it kind of, at least the episode I saw, it started with him. I feel like the premise of the show, more or less, is he's about to be elected president, and it's like, a few years in the future from now, and he's doing an interview with somebody and talking about his life and what led him to, eventually becoming the president. So again, he's got to have his ego inflated. But I think, like, that's kind of like I want to say that's more or less the limit of his involvement as far as being on screen. He just, like, more or less sets up the story that they're going to tell that week about his life. And, I don't know. He might just be surrounded by too many yes men, but the damage is probably already done. Because, I mean, now he has to try to pivot to Marvel, and Marvel's a whole nother bag of worms at this point that we didn't even get to, and we definitely don't have time to get to. But
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, maybe he's right. He's just going to become Hector Camacho, President of the United States. Sorry, President of the world. Have you seen this movie?
Idiocracy? Not in a long time, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. It's going to happen, apparently. It's going to happen. He will be president.
I mean, as a whole, we're kind of on the road to that anyway, so.
Yeah.
It's electrolytes. That shit's in everything.
I won't say your name for the sake of getting banned, probably, because YouTube scans all of it, but I'd love to see a remake. I'll call you Ilbo Haggins. I'd like to see a remake of the movie Twins, The Rock and Kevin Hart. I mean,
oh god,
I thought they were already doing that. I thought they were doing that.
They're making a sequel. Yeah.
With
DeVito
Arnold?
and Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm done with sequels, but I'm down for that.
I want to see that, especially because DeVito's just, like, he's still great, I think.
Yeah. I love it. I sent everybody, and then we'll call it. I said to everybody in our group chat a TikTok of Danny DeVito, I guess, doing some show where they have to get a lie detector test. They put it around your chest, and they're like, "Tell us what you honestly think about this thing or that thing." And somebody slides him a picture of Michael Keaton, and he goes, "Oh yeah, Batman." They're like, "Yes, Batman." But is he? He's like, "No, this is Batman. Like he was Batman." And I've heard him in multiple interviews talk about Batman Returns, and it's funny because he always talks about Batman Returns like people don't watch that movie. And he was like, "I was the Penguin in this movie with Michael Keaton. He is my Batman." And they're like, "Yeah, but as far as ranking Batmans," he's like, no. He is Batman." And they're like, "All right, yeah." And I was like, "You know what, Danny? Kevin Conroy aside, you're not wrong. You're not wrong."
You're not.
So
I'm gonna have to. I went on a binge of Sam Whitmer stuff after listening to his interview. Now I haven't ever heard Danny DeVito talking about this, so now I'm gonna have to do some searching on that tonight when I can't sleep.
yeah, it's funny. I mean, I can only think of two examples. It's that one, and it's when he did the "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" podcast. Like those guys have their own podcast now, and I feel like I've seen other clips, but I can't think of like exact references. But anytime in the clips and in those two things, I've heard Danny DeVito talk about Batman Returns. He goes, "I played him. I played Penguin in that movie," as though we don't know that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm like, you're losing your mind and you're forgetting that was a big movie, or he's that disconnected from social media, internet, and all that stuff that he doesn't realize people love that movie.
Maybe. I mean, also maybe he just thinks like, oh God, 1992?
Yeah.
It's 20 years ago now. Am
Yep.
I right?
Yep.
21 this year, whenever it was released. Maybe he just thinks whoever is listening is, too young to have seen it.
I think
Which is sadly becoming the case.
You meant to say 30.
Oh my God, I didn't mean to say 30. All right, so even worse.
You old shit.
I spoke to somebody earlier, and I was just like, I was talking to somebody, and I was just like, yeah, I can't do simple math in my head anymore. Sal remembers we had a math teacher, and junior year of high school, I was doing pretty well in math, not like genius.
Remind me.
Oh shit!
I don't hear him anymore.
And I just, oop.
No. Actually, no. It's me. It's me.
But now I didn't.
Hang on. It's definitely me.
Oh.
No, I hear you.
Oh. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah. It's just I haven't been good at math for a long time. Was the point of the story?
Yeah, I hear you.
Without a calculator, even then, sometimes my fat fingers hit the wrong button.
But it's also, I mean, who would have thunk that in a matter of less than 10 years, 2000 is going to be 30 years ago?
Oh God. Yeah. We're that generation, like, not to get morbid here, but we're basically about to be like that generation where, they're like, yeah, Pearl Harbor was this and that. And then like you have a whole generation who didn't live through any of that. And it's just in the history books. And that's a really creepy thing to be doing, to be experiencing.
Yeah. I have people who work for me who were not alive for 9/11. It is just history books. Yeah.
I'm chugging this wine
shit.
right now.
Old as shit. Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Too soon to know your craft there. We're a bunch of old assholes on this show.
I'm gonna go sit in like an Epsom salt bath before I go to bed just to loosen up, I guess.
Pretty much.
Have some Fig Newtons.
Well, before we call it an episode, before we wrap, anything you want to plug, talk about? I always say plug your shit. Well, we work for the same network, so
we do work for the same network.
Yeah.
Nerdy Coffee on Mondays. HeyArcher Live on Thursdays. Rambling with Anthony whenever. I swear to God, I love Star Wars. I'm not hating on it just to hate on it. It's just trying to be an honest, not trying to be a yes man. That's it.
Yep.
There are good things. There's some not so good things.
Yep.
Josh and I still want to sit down and talk about Tulsa King. I'm waiting on not to pass the buck, but I want to invest, folks. I'm just doing all this off of AirPods, and I want to invest in mics. So we're researching, and
Yeah.
I want to actually sound better with Josh when we record, and this way I'll sound better going forward. But other than that, yeah, we're going to keep talking about Star Wars week to week. Star Trek. I have to see the new episode of Picard this season. I liked season 1. It was getting us back into that world.
Mm-hmm.
Skip season 2. And just season 3 so far. I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers. It seems like they're going to go out on a high note.
Yep.
Granted, they went out on a high note with the end of The Next Generation, but I guess the way the movie series went, they needed to go out again on a high note. They should have ended with First Contact.
Yep.
But they chose not to. And nerdaffiliated.com. We have a sweet shop. If you look at my Instagram, I got some new merch today. The hoodie is nice, very nice wear, and I wish I had gotten it sooner, but we only just launched it. It does keep you warm. I won't lie. I was sweating today, and it was only like 60 with a breeze. But so next winter, this thing is going to be used very regularly.
Yeah. I got to say, the timing of this release, it matched up with St. Patrick's Day. It just worked out. But
now I have something green for next year.
Exactly.
Oh, and not plugging necessarily, but he's in the chat. Sal, welcome back. It was good to have you back. To see you back last week on Monday, and just happy you're doing well, buddy.
Yeah. 1,000%. So, hey, another fun show in the books. As he mentioned, nerdaffiliated.com, youtube.com/nerdaffiliated, twitch.tv/nerdaffiliated. But also, we do have the Nerd Foundation, so make sure join the channel memberships. Have that up on the screen there. Lots of fun stuff. Hit the join button. Got different ranks. And if you want to save on that merch, $9.99 a month, you'll get yourself a percentage off. I think it's like 15% off every month. I could be wrong. Don't sue me on it, but you do get money off when you're at the $9.99. If not, you can join for as little as 99 cents. It's great. And with that, I will hit the end show button. Fun times as always.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I mean, we can talk for hours on everything from Sopranos to Star Wars to Marvel, because they're all somehow intertwined. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. I can Kingpin. We could have segued to Kingpin from Sopranos.
That's true. I'm afraid. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm afraid of what we're gonna get with Daredevil.
Yeah. We you can't say that as you hit the outro, but yes.
I did. Yeah. We'll talk about that later. HeyArcher Live every Thursday, 8:15-ish p.m. It was 8:20 today, 8:15-ish p.m. here on Nerd Affiliated. As Anthony said, Nerdy Coffee every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern here on Nerd Affiliated. More videos and all that fun stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, join the membership, and we'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. We're out of here. Oh, hang on. I'm going to give you a Sopranos breathing. Where's the gabagool?
Get the gabagool.
What? Huh? Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer. Give me a hell yeah. I said, give me a